Ladies, gentlemen, people of all genders, countrymen and foreigners and esteemed guests, lend me your ears. It is I, Tondro, back at it yet again. As always, this is a shit post, which is why I am using AI, quote unquote AI art, and I might genuinely do a video where I genuinely talk about quote unquote AI and why it's a big scam. Maybe. Anyway, today, however, we are going to mourn. Today we mourn the death of modern masculinity, or at least traditional masculinity, or masculinity as we know it. It's dead. Dead as a doornail. Past, done. It's dead with a capital D. It sucks. Gamers, press F to pay to pay respects. Yeah. Listen, I say this as a person who did a lot of thinking and a lot of self-reflection. And I'll be honest. One, I'm non-binary. I use any and all pronouns. I don't give a fuck. Second, I am Tondro. I'm a lizard. I am literally my persona. I I'm a reptilian from another planet. I don't believe in gender. Know that what I'm about to say and the ideas I'm about to explore in this shit post is all a joke, and it's coming from a person who doesn't believe in gender the same way someone wouldn't believe in fairies or God or I don't know, the existence of demons or an afterlife. That's really how I see gender, to be honest. Now, as for traditional masculinity being dead, with it dead, we must now, as a society, we must choose a replacement. And so, I did a lot of thinking, a lot of rumination, and I came up with a few archetypes that will replace maybe not all men across the world, but I don't like predicting shit, but again, this is a joke. What will the future of masculinity look like? Here are some men from the future. First, we have what I call the techno aesthetic, or a techno hermit. The techno hermit is essentially just, well, I hate to say this, but he's just a gooner. It's basically you live in the woods, or at the very least, you live in a way in which you never talk to people or see humans in real life, like for months, if not years on end. You hikikomori max. And you live in the woods, you're just chilling, you don't have any running water, but to you, it doesn't matter because you have the fastest, like, 7G network ever. And, I mean, you know, only lonely fans and I don't know, video games or whatever. I guess that would be optional. You would have whatever job you would have. It would either be living off of government bucks or something like really weird that we only see like the really impoverished do, like collecting e-waste for gold, or you know, canning scrap metal. Other than that, I mean, I don't know. I think that's a pretty chill life. Live in the woods, don't talk to anyone, and goon all day. Sounds like paradise to me. Next up, we have the junta nihilists. The junta nihilists are kind of like, well, they're nihilists. They're dudes who just don't care, don't believe in any of the propaganda. They don't believe in institutions like the military or the government or the country or whatever, but they will join these institutions out of the idea of, oh, I want power. Like, it's literally the meme of local man joins the police just to kill people. Um, think of like your average like Wagner mercenary. That's basically what a good chunk of men in the year 2050 might end up being, unfortunately. Well, I mean, maybe it is fortunate because, let's face it, you're doing war crimes all day, but that's going to paint a target on you, and it'll end with you, like, not living to see 50. I mean, considering climate change is also a factor, you probably won't live to see 30. And probably, we'll have a horrible mental health crisis. So there's that to look forward to. Next, we have the Eco Bro. The Eco Bro is pretty straightforward. If you're a furry, you're probably already one. You take care of animals all day, and it could be you go off into the forest and do your own thing, or you go halfway around the world to fight poachers in Africa. Doesn't matter. You bonus points if you have a underlying hatred for humanity, like an unironic, legitimate hatred, and you want to you're like other kin or some shit. Most, if not all, of your friend group would probably consist of furries. I would say of the Eco Bro archetype, I would say maybe like 90% of them would be vegan. And they're also probably like 90% poor as all dirt, but don't care. I think we're gonna go back to like ultra minimalism as well. We're all gonna have like 3 sets of clothes, no furniture, and live in grass huts. Next up, we have the neckbeard. The neckbeard is essentially the junta nihilist, but instead of latching on to a societal organization like a I don't know, like a military or whatever, he instead just goes literally his own way, goes just solo, him against the world, and will probably do a bunch of drugs, just have his total freedom, does whatever he wants, but that also probably includes like arson and hurting people. And will probably the neckbeards will hold back. The Chaos Wizard neckbeards will hold back humanity for a good 1,000 years, and each one of them will probably have a lifespan of about a year the moment they decide to break bad. These are your Ted Kaczynskis and Adam Lanzas. These are your, mass shooters and serial killers. I hate to say that, but there is a very messed up part about masculinity, and now with masculinity dead, it's shattered between kind of a yin and yang of positive nihilism and negative nihilism in the existential sense of that word. I could also see a world where we all become gender nihilists, but I'll touch on that later. Next up, we have the Dadaist cult leader. It doesn't necessarily have to be under the guise of religion. It could literally just be a friend group. And it doesn't even need to necessarily be cult-like insofar as a cult of personality, so much as it's a closed-off group that doesn't let in outsiders that easily. And it doesn't necessarily even have to be led by a man, but whatever that internal group has, the cis men of that will mostly just express themselves with art, probably also religion, maybe. They understand that their art and their religion is all bullshit, but they do it anyway for fun and shits and giggles. And the group will most likely be like polycules. We're gonna see a big spike in like polyamory, and it's not just gonna be one man, one woman no more. It's gonna be like one man, 3 trans women, or one cis man and 5 other cis men, and they all share the same the same Jessica Rabbit real doll. Complications may occur with this one because, like, if you get like five straight cis dudes who all live together and they form like their own like miniature cult, I'm not saying that'll lead to like a Jonestown, but someone somewhere will get arrested. Whoever men are, arrest records will follow. Next, we have the pro-Oedipus, which is kind of like an anti to the anti-Oedipus. So the pro-Oedipus is cis men across the world decide to become meek as all hell. I'm talking like, think of your stereotypical Jade Trophy, the stereotypical submissive Asian woman. All cis men across, like just in droves, just decide, okay, we're gonna do that because we keep being seen as threats. They all pick the bear instead of the man in the woods, and many men understand why they pick the bear. And so to counter that, I could see a lot of men saying, okay, we're all going to be very meek and very polite, say yes ma'am, no ma'am. We're all going to wear like really, really like the clothes that make you not look like a threat. So maybe not dresses, but like definitely like tie-dye shirts and sandals. You know, like we're all gonna dress like we're all gonna wear the same femboy Hooters T-shirt. Um, you will probably most of the pro Oedipuses will live with a woman as a basically just a live-in slave, and the women in question will probably be either their mothers or their wives, and their mothers will probably like marry them off to a wife, similar to how there's this one group of like a matriarchal society in China. They have something similar to that, where the woman is where the head mother of the household chooses, okay, this guy, you're gonna marry this girl from this other family. But basically, at the end of the day, you just have mommy issues. You get free room and board in exchange for manual labor, and that will be the end of it. And we'll see what happens. I think, in all honesty, and I know this is all just one big shit post, but I think this is probably the most positive and maybe the second to third most likely outcome. Next up, we have the anti-work militia. This doesn't necessarily have to be armed, but it's definitely going to be a more radical to militant left. That kind of range of leftists, and it can range from like communist to anarchist to like anti-civ, but it will be people who, especially cis men, who say, okay, the death of masculinity is caused by capitalism. We need to abolish it. And this can range from situationalism to anti-work to post-scarcity, whatever, to people bring back the IRA, to some weird libertarian version of, I don't know, the Boogaloo Boys minus racism, I guess. I don't know. There would probably be at some point a thinker coming along saying, since women value resources, in parentheses money, then the easiest route to woman would be to remove resources or to gather resources and spread it out evenly among the community. So we might see people trying to abolish money or trying to, I don't know, redistribute wealth in their communities and in an attempt to get laid, or just out of their love of humanity. Me personally, I'm all for eating the rich, and if the death of masculinity could lead to eating the rich, I'm fine with that. Now, some people joke and say, "Oh, haha, communism leads to famines," and I'm like, okay, if a famine did happen, it would probably solve climate change, so win-win. Next up, we have the pre-dystopian cynic. Imagine Diogenes living in the modern world with like modern conveniences. That's basically what the pre-dystopian cynic is. You have no home, no food, but to you it's no problem. You don't care. In the coming years, I could see a world where homelessness is just so rampant it becomes just like normal. Like it's like the rain, you know. You know what I hate to say that, but But because it would be so normalized, if we are living in the cyberpunk like 2050 whatever, homelessness would be so normalized that the hobos would organize into what would basically be the nomads from cyberpunk, and we would have, again, due to climate change, migrant crises constantly. So I could feasibly see a world where hobos just in mass are able to steal stuff, and so long as they don't do any, steal anything too important, they'll get away with it. And they can pee wherever they want, and most of them will be nomadic, some will be sedentary, and they, probably will look out after each other and probably be able to cross any border they want, even into North Korea. If anything, I'd end up like that. Anyway. Next and finally, we have the sleaze maxers, or the sleaze maximalists, or just the maximalists. This is another like large nebulous cluster of post masculinity men who will just be like, okay, I've lost my identity as a man. I am just going to focus on money. These are not just your Andrew Tates and bald and bankrupts. These are your I mean, men have been doing the whole go to Southeast Asia, the C maxing for a long time, kind of thing. But now it's going to be in the future. I think, in all honesty, it's going to be so common that we'll see like celebrities do it and shit. We'll see like fucking, I swear to God, we'll see celebrities, we'll see like kids right out of high school will do this. But the thing is most of the men who will be doing this will be coming from money. Like Andrew Tate and Sneeko, they're all from money. These are people who had money to begin with. Generally speaking, I can see a world where the difference between rich and poor countries maybe doesn't get so bad that or better yet, maybe democracies backslide so much that like Americans and Liberians team up together. That'd be weird. It turns out that I'm equally as impoverished as some barefoot Indonesian kid, and we team up against the rich. Now that would be an interesting type of C-maxing. But that's just where I think all of the rich young kids of the future will be what they will be doing. They'll just leave the country and go muck up Thailand or something. Now look, all of this that I've just said is just pure speculation, and we don't know. Maybe there are plenty of other genders that will replace the cis man in due time. Maybe there's a third or a fourth or a fifth or a 900th gender that happens out there. Maybe we will all become gender nihilists and create a bunch of genders to the point that gender is a meaningless concept and we all are just humans. And maybe, I don't know, maybe there's like a weird like feminist movement at some point where it's like, okay, we're gonna create an AI female god in the image of a black woman and she fixes all of our problems. Maybe, I don't know. Again, this is all just speculation. This is all a joke. This is just me throwing shit at the wall. Another possibility is we could all just become non-binary. We could just be like, yeah, I'm me. We all just become the gray the gray blob people from Fairly Odd Parents. And we could also finally upload ourselves into the digital cloud or whatever and become like transhuman and upload ourselves into the Matrix, blah blah blah, Divine Link severed, Cruelty Squad, blah 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 blah, the Godhead, blah blah blah, Orbis, blah blah blah, Padme, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, Cruelty Squad. Anyway, with that, we can say R.I.P. to masculinity. Rest in peace, masculinity. I'm not sure if you'll be missed, but I feel like men are not okay, and it's okay to not be okay, and maybe we'll say collectively, okay, fuck it, we don't want to be men anymore. We're now all criaturas, and we're all gonna turn into El Ogro or something. Anyway, good night, y'all.